Arsenal closing in on Viktor Gyokeres, Rodrygo deal off. What's happening with Benjamin Sesko and John Garcia? Let's get into all the Arsenal transfer news from today. How's it going, guys? And welcome back to Punch Drunk Arsenal, your home to all the latest Arsenal news and transfer updates. In today's episode, we're going to have a little recap of all the Arsenal transfer news that happened today. We're going to kick off with obviously the biggest story recently, like surrounding Arsenal, and that's Viktor Gyokeres. Um, Reports coming out of Italy, more notably Nicolo Sciarra, a very reliable source to be fact, stated that Viktor Gyokeres' agents are in talks with Arsenal. Apparently, there has been an offer on apparently there has been an offer from Arsenal for Gyokeres, a 5-year deal. This, apparently, according to our sources, was actually given to his representatives quite a couple of weeks ago. It's a 5-year package, as mentioned before. It's running until 2030, around £200,000 per week. His representatives, as well as Gyökeres, are quite happy with the package presented by Arsenal. Both parties want to get the deal done, and as we all know, Andrea Berta is actually a huge fan of Gyökeres and tried to get him during his Atletico Madrid days to Spain. Personally, I think this is a deal that we're going to see happen. There's been a lot of talk about other potential striker targets, including Benjamin Sesko. We'll get to that one a little bit later. But Viktor Gyokeres is definitely the man Arsenal need to get into the club this season. If you look at his numbers, it's ridiculous numbers. 64 goals, about 12 assists, I think. So that's around 70 plus 75 goal contributions this season alone. 100 goals across 2 seasons, or just about 100 goals for Sporting Lisbon. This striker is unbelievable. He's leading the race currently for the European Golden Boot. I don't think anyone can catch him at this moment in time, so he's probably going to get the European Golden Boot this season. Immense striker. I mean, he scores a variety of different goals. Not so much headers. I think he scored about 2 or 3 headers during his time in Sporting. However, he can score off the left, he can score off the right. He scores from distance, in the box. He's a poacher. Yeah, very good with the ball at his feet. Dribbles nicely. He's a strong, lethal runner. Link-up play is also very good. What he can offer the Gunners is exactly what the Gunners need. We need that clinical striker that can come into the side and just score goals. We saw a stat yesterday that actually showcased how poor Arsenal strikers have been. I know there's been injuries as well, but it just shows how poor Arsenal's attacking lineup has been. No, this is the first time, and I think it's, I don't know how many years, that no Arsenal player scored 10 plus goals in the Premier League. Even though our goals are a bit dispersed throughout the team, so a lot of players do pick up goals. I mean, I think Declan Rice picked up around 9 from the 8th position. Odegaard didn't have a good season this year, so obviously he didn't get a lot of goals. But I think that's more than exemplifies the reason why we do need to bring in a striker this season. And for me, Viktor Gyokeres is that man. Like I say, he scores a boatload of goals, and he's definitely one that the Gunners are pushing for. Andrea Berta personally also pushing to get this deal done, and I think that this is probably going to be the one that we get over the line. I mentioned last week that this is going to be a big week for Gyökeres and for Arsenal. I heard from quite a reliable source that after the Taca de Portugal, that the Gunners will be moving for him, and as we can see, those reports seem to have come true. Expect this one, like I say, expect this one to come to fruition, guys. This will be a very good sign for us, and it's definitely what we need. Moving on to other striker options, we've been linked to Benjamin Sesko, obviously a player that we came close to signing during the last summer transfer window as well as January. A player Mikel Arteta, on the other hand, really loves. The thing with Benjamin Sesko for me, just personally, is I think he's a bit raw still. Undoubtedly, he's got talent, and he could possibly become a world beater. But at this moment in time, I don't think Arsenal need projects, as we can say. I think we need to be looking at the finished article, and that's why I believe Gyökeres is the right man for us at the moment. Interestingly enough, reports coming out of, well, on X, that Chelsea have actually approached Sesko's agents, and it seems like he might be their number one target, and he does actually fit more of the Chelsea build of the type of transfers they've been going for in recent years. They like a young player. They like a player that's got big value and possibly has a sale on value in the future. So Sesko to Chelsea actually makes more sense in my opinion than Sesko to Arsenal. I'm not ruling out the Sesko deal because in the transfer window anything can happen. I mean, Gyokeres could get a call from Liverpool tomorrow and he might fancy himself more as of a Liverpool player, and then Arsenal needs to have their options open that if the Gyokeres deal for whatever reason, even though I don't think it will, for whatever reason falls through, they have another option in Sesko. And that's why I think we have still been keeping in touch with Sesko. A big name that we have been linked with is Real Madrid's Rodrygo, a player that did look destined to leave the Spanish capital this season. However, since Xabi Alonso obviously became the new Real Madrid coach, there has been rumors that Rodrygo first wants to chat to Chubby and see his thoughts on how he would play him, where he would like to use him. And during his press conference today, his first press conference as the Madrid manager, Chubby actually had huge praise for Rodrygo, and it seems like Rodrygo's going to be a player that he's going to be counting on this upcoming campaign. Does that rule out a move completely? No, obviously no, it doesn't. But it does seem that Rodrygo likely will remain at this moment in time, likely will remain at Real Madrid. Does that cancel all Arsenal's options out for the left wing position? Definitely not. We've been linked with Nico Williams. This is a player Mikel Arteta desperately wants at the club. Offers a little bit of a different profile to what Arsenal have at the moment. Very good dribbler. He's a very direct runner. Likes to get into the box and shoot. Between the two, obviously, we prefer Rodrygo. His package would be a lot higher. That's the only problem. He would probably demand around 300,000 per week, which put him on par with Saka's new deal. Saka's probably going to get around 300,000 and make him one of Arsenal's highest earners if you include his wages, plus the fact that it would likely cost between 70 and 80 million pounds. It's a very difficult deal to get done for the Gunners. Not one to completely rule out, as we know Andrea Bertza likes to make big splash in the transfer market, and we expect him to do that once again now that he started at Arsenal, which is kind of exciting for Arsenal fans, especially now also that we've from considering where we've been the last couple of years to being linked with this high profile type of players that we are now. It's exciting times for the club. Like I said, do I think Rodrygo is going to come to Arsenal? I think at this moment in time it's 50-50, more leaning towards a no though. Does like I said, it doesn't rule out all the options. We're definitely going to be starting another left winger this campaign. Striker is our main concern though, and I do think we should be at this moment in time prioritizing the striker position, whether that's Gyokeres or Sesko. At the moment, looking like it's Gyokeres. Once we get the striker through the door, then we can start looking at different other positions. Brian Mbeumo is a player we were linked with in January. We had discussions with Brentford. However, they squashed all our advances. We were interested in a £50 million move, which also is interestingly enough how much Brentford are quoting teams now. However, back then during the January window, they would not have sanctioned a £50 million move. They were looking the higher end, like 80 million, which Arsenal were not willing to spend. We only had about 50 million to spend on an attacking reinforcement during January. That's why we saw a lot of our deals fall through. As well, Mateus Cunha, another player that's actually joining Manchester United. I believe we had personal terms agreed with Cunha during January. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, we only had 50 million pounds to spend. Wolves were looking for around 65 million. Cunha now leaving for 62 million to Man United. So attacking reinforcements, we can expect the club to get at least two through the door. Arsenal, hopefully a third. If we can get three attacking reinforcements into the club, then we definitely sorted. Gabriel Jesus cannot be relied on anymore. He's too injury prone. Also, he's inconsistent actually when he does play. Leandro Trossard, good player, decent player, but he's not really the player that's going to elevate Arsenal to the next level. Gabriel Martinelli has fallen off a little bit this season. Still young though, so there's still space for him to grow and improve. And then obviously definitely just need numbers, because if we pick up injuries like we did this season, we back in the same position. So if we can keep Trossard, keep Martinelli, Saka, and Havertz as the four attacking options we currently have. Marino can obviously also subsidize as a bit of a striker, even though that's not his natural position. He's more of an 8. And then add another 3. Then we have 7 solid attacking options for our front 3, which is actually what you need when you want to be one of the elite teams. I mean, you look at the Man Cities when they had their good sides, they had 2 or 3 solid strikers as well as wingers. And that's what you need to do. Man City, talking about Man City, they spent 100 million on Jack Grealish, who hardly gets game time and looks like he's leaving the club this summer. So Arsenal really need to prioritize the attacking options. And I think, as you can see with the names we're being linked with, we definitely are. Martin Zubamendi is a name that's gone quiet as of recently, but I think that's because we all expect him to complete his deal to Arsenal very soon. He's going to add a lot for the club in the central midfield role, possibly replacing Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is in contract negotiations with Arsenal. Is he going to sign it? I think that one's still up in the air. He's pushing to get it done. I think the club also wants to get it done, but there's still a little bit of separation in the valuation there. A name that could if possible, if Partey possibly leaves, a name that has been touted for the Gunners that I've also personally heard is, I don't really know how to pronounce his name. He's a French guy. He's from Sevilla. His name is Lucien Agum. Agum, I think. He's about 23, 24 year old central defensive midfielder. Spent some time at Inter Milan, so he's got a little bit of experience through two top flight leagues. And it's a name that if he comes in as a reserve, like a little bit of as a backup to Martin Zubamendi, would be a good addition to the side. Something to look out for. Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums up where our business is currently. There's also obviously Jean Garcia. We came very close to signing him last summer. The Espanyol director even came out and said that Garcia was almost in tears when they told him that they rejected Arsenal's offer. He was really desperate to come to the club. After his impressive season at Espanyol, it's highly unlikely that he's going to be one to be a backup goalkeeper behind David Raya this season. A host of big name clubs interested in him, including Man United and Newcastle, both which would actually offer him the chance to be in the first choice keeper. So my expectation is that Joan Garcia, even though it looks like he's rejected Barcelona as an Espanyol fan, I don't see him coming to Arsenal this summer just because, like I said, if you get the option of being a first choice keeper or a second choice keeper, you're going to be the first choice keeper because at least you're going to get some game time. So, guys, at this moment in time, as I mentioned, Viktor Gyokeres deal looking very good. We're accelerating that one. Bert's is a big fan. Sesko is in the balance. I'm sure we will still be in there just in case the Gyokeres deal falls through. But it looks like Chelsea are advancing there with that one. They've also got Liam Delap on their list, so it'll be interesting to see who they actually pick up in the striker position. Rodrygo currently, I'd say personally, I think the deal is off. It looks like Xabi Alonso wants to keep him. Also, with the new manager coming in at Madrid, it could open up a new lease of life for Rodrygo. So maybe his previous thoughts about leaving the club could now be squashed with him now more likely looking to stay at Real Madrid. John Garcia is a player I personally don't think Arsenal are going to get this summer, even though we've been heavily linked with him. Early on, maybe in January, it still looked like we were gonna get him. However, now, like I mentioned, I think with the amount of other interest he's gaining from other clubs, I think he's going to be off to a different club, which is fair play to him. I think he needs to be playing first team football. And then Brian Abem, a name that's also another one that's up in the air with him. I think if Arsenal were to get involved there, he might possibly come. I think Man United does seem like the most likely destination for him at the moment. And then Lucien Agum, the Sevilla central defensive midfielder. Arsenal do have a good relationship with Sevilla, and this does seem like a deal that could be done, especially if Thomas Partey leaves the club. However, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Really appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving us recently. Like I mentioned, we're gonna try and get a video out every single day for you guys. Just a little recap of the transfer news. If there's any breaking Arsenal transfer news, we'll also keep you guys up to date. So please don't forget to smash that like button. Follow Punch Drunk Arsenal for all your latest Arsenal news and transfer updates. We're gonna be posting the breaking news as it comes out. And as always, please leave your comments in the comment section down below. Cheers, guys.